Have you ever heard about the most toxic lake on Earth? This is Lake Natron, tucked away in a remote region of Tanzania, East Africa. It's a place where the beauty of nature meets the harsh realities of life, a place that holds a deadly secret. You see, Lake Natron isn't your average body of water. It's a lake unlike any other, its toxicity unparalleled anywhere else on our planet. This toxicity originates from the Old Doinyo Lengai volcano, situated on the lake's southern coast. This active volcano releases a unique kind of magma, rich in sodium and potassium carbonate, known as nitrocarbonatite, or fittingly, natron. When this magma seeps into the lake, it drastically alters the water, making it incredibly alkaline. Couple this with the salty desert rain that soaks into the lake, and you've got a recipe for a truly lethal lake. But what makes this lake so deadly? Let's dig deeper into the science behind it. The first culprit behind Lake Natron's toxicity is a volcanic neighbor, Old Doinyo Lengai. This active volcano isn't like most of its fiery counterparts. It's the only one on the planet that erupts with a unique kind of magma, rich in sodium and potassium carbonate. Substance is also known as nitrocarbonatite, or fittingly, natron. This magma is the key player in our story of toxicity. Now let's dive a little deeper into this unique volcanic recipe. While most volcanoes churn out silica-based magma, Old Doinyo Lengai dances to the beat of its own drum. This volcano spews out a carbonatite flow, a rare type of lava that's significantly cooler than the red-hot molten rock we're used to seeing. And its composition? That's where our natron comes into play. Nitrocarbonatite is a carbonate mineral that's rich in sodium and potassium. When it's expelled by the volcano, it flows into Lake Natron, turning the water into an alkaline cocktail. This makes the lake extraordinarily basic, with a pH that can reach as high as 12. That's nearly as alkaline as ammonia. But the story doesn't end there. Lake Natron doesn't flow out to the sea or other streams like most lakes do. Instead, its only way out is through evaporation, and when water evaporates, it leaves behind all the dissolved salts and minerals. Over time, this process has concentrated the sodium and potassium from the nitrocarbonatite in the lake, further increasing its alkalinity and salinity. This process has transformed Lake Natron into a caustic bath that's not just salty, but also incredibly corrosive. Most living creatures can't survive in these extreme conditions. In fact, if they were to take a dip in this lake, they could die before even reaching the bottom. So, the lake's extreme alkalinity is a gift from the volcano. But there's more to this toxic tale. As we'll see, the story of Lake Natron isn't just about a volcano and its unique magma. It's also about the desert's salty rain and the creatures that have somehow managed to survive in this harsh environment. But that's a story for another scene. The desert's salty rain and the unique evaporation process of Lake Natron play significant roles in its toxicity. Imagine a rainstorm in the desert, not your typical downpour, but one that carries with it a touch of the sea. This salty rain descends on Lake Natron, and each droplet carries a tiny pinch of salt. As these droplets fall into the lake, they dissolve, adding their salty contribution to the already alkaline waters. This salty rain is just one of the factors that contribute to the lake's unusually high salinity. Now let's talk about the lake's evaporation process. Unlike many other bodies of water on our planet, Lake Natron doesn't have an outlet to the sea or any other streams. It's like a giant bowl, collecting water but not letting it out. So what happens to the water? Well, under the scorching African sun, the lake's water simply evaporates. Evaporation is a natural process where water transforms from a liquid to a gas. In most lakes, this would just mean the water level goes down a little. But with Lake Natron, it's a different story. Here, when the water evaporates, it leaves behind all the sodium it held. This sodium, a product of the nitrocarbonatite from the Old Doinyo Lengai volcano and the salt from the desert rain, stays behind. Over time, as more and more water evaporates and more salt is added, the lake's salinity increases. This continuous cycle of salty rain and evaporation turns Lake Natron into a deadly concoction. It's like a soup that's been on the stove too long, becoming more and more concentrated, its flavor intensifying with each passing moment. Except, this is no soup you'd want a taste of. Its high salinity and alkalinity make it corrosive, a lethal brew that most animals can't survive. The desert rain and evaporation process make Lake Natron a deadly salty soup, but can anything survive here? Most animals can't survive in Lake Natron's corrosive waters. These potent waters, with their deadly chemical cocktail, are a lethal trap for most creatures that dare to take a plunge. Imagine a body of water so corrosive that it could strip the ink off a soda can. That's the reality of Lake Natron. The lake's unique chemical composition, fed by the natrocarbonatite magma from the Old Dueño Lengai volcano and salty desert rain, makes it one of the most inhospitable places on the planet. The high alkalinity and salinity of Lake Natron create a toxic brew that's nothing short of deadly for most species. The waters can reach a pH level as high as 12, almost as alkaline as ammonia. This extreme alkalinity can burn the skin and eyes of animals not adapted to life in such harsh conditions. But it's not just the corrosive waters that pose a threat. The lake also has an unusually high evaporation rate, which leaves behind vast amounts of sodium. This concentrated salt further increases the lake's toxicity, making it a veritable death trap for most creatures that venture too close. What's more, Lake Natron's water doesn't flow into the sea or other streams. Instead, it evaporates, leaving behind an even higher concentration of these toxic elements. This self-contained cycle of death makes Lake Natron a unique and deadly body of water that few organisms can endure. The lake's lethal allure is such that most animals that accidentally fall in die before they even touch the bottom. It's as if the waters themselves are a predator, lying in wait for unsuspecting prey to take the fatal plunge. Yet these seemingly lifeless, corrosive waters hide a surprising secret. They're not entirely devoid of life. The deadly waters of Lake Natron are a death sentence for most creatures, but is there any life that thrives here? Join us as we delve deeper into the mysteries of Lake Natron and discover the remarkable survival strategies of the few creatures that call this deadly lake home. Despite the extreme conditions, some life forms have adapted to survive in Lake Natron. Now you might be wondering, how is it possible for anything to thrive in such a harsh environment? Well, it turns out that Mother Nature is full of surprises. Let's talk about the lesser flamingos. These elegant birds have evolved to withstand the lake's high alkalinity, feeding on the spirulina algae that bloom in the lake's waters. These algae are one of the few types of life that can withstand the lake's extreme conditions, providing a vital food source for the flamingos. The flamingos' bodies have adapted to filter out the salt from the water, allowing them to drink and feed in the lake without harm. It's a striking example of the adaptability of life. But the flamingos aren't the only survivors at Lake Natron. The lake is also home to a unique type of extremophile bacteria. Extremophiles are organisms that thrive in what we consider extreme conditions, and these bacteria have carved out a niche in the alkaline waters of Lake Natron. They're called haloalkalophilic bacteria, and they not only survive the lake's harsh conditions, but actually prefer them. For these bacteria, Lake Natron is a haven, not a hazard. Even in the face of such harsh conditions, these organisms have found a way to not only survive but thrive, making the seemingly inhospitable Lake Natron their home. It's a testament to the resilience and adaptability of life, demonstrating that even in the harshest of environments, life can find a way to flourish. But perhaps the most important lesson here is the reminder of the incredible diversity of life on our planet. From the lesser flamingos gracing the air with their vibrant plumage to the microscopic bacteria thriving in the corrosive waters. Each has found a way to adapt and survive in one of the most extreme environments on Earth. Life finds a way, even in the most toxic lake on Earth. It's a humbling thought, isn't it? Lake Natron is a testament to the extreme conditions that life can adapt to. As we've journeyed through the harsh realities of this fascinating place, we've discovered a world where the ordinary rules of survival are defied. The Old Dueño Lengai volcano, with its unique natrocarbonatite magma, plays a pivotal role in infusing the lake with extreme alkalinity. The desert's salty rain and evaporation process further heighten the lake's salinity, turning it into a lethal cocktail that most life forms find unbearable. Yet in this inhospitable environment, resilient organisms thrive, revealing the astounding resilience and adaptability of life. These survivors offer us valuable insights into the diverse strategies nature employs to persist against all odds. So, the next time you hear about the most toxic lake on Earth, remember the amazing adaptability of life and the incredible science behind it. For it's in these extreme corners of our world that we truly appreciate the tenacity and wonder of life's enduring spirit.